Hi, I'm Danny. Welcome back to the garage. In today's video, I'm going to review and test the KINGBOLEN K10 Pro. And yes, this does have the topology map. It's a 10-inch screen and it's a professional scanner. I also have the K8 and the K7, which I've done review videos on these, and I'll link them in the description. Today's video is going to be all about the K10 Pro. Let's get started. I'm going to start with the Civic, and then we'll go over to the 2020 Toyota Highlander, and we'll see the difference in the topology map. So the dongle or the VCI conveniently located on the back here, and then we're just going to plug this in. Once it's plugged in, you'll see a little light. That means the DLC is giving the VCI some power. Now I'm going to turn on the key and turn on my scan tool. And because this is Bluetooth, I don't have to be at the car. I can be at the bench, and that's how I'm gonna work. This is my normal setup when I'm working on cars. I've got my computer with my service information, and having a Bluetooth scanner just seals the deal. And now we're at the home screen. So this is basically the same home screen as the K8 and the K7, but there is one more option, and it's the ADAS. ADAS stands for Advanced Driver Assist Systems. This is for vehicles equipped with features like lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, and collision warning. So let's go ahead and go into intelligent functions. If you want to know more about those menu functions, I went over all of that in the K8 video. I'll put a link to that in the description. This is my Honda. Let's go into diagnostics. This is the topology map. So I've got PGMI, SRS, and ABS. Those three are lit up because I've already looked into them. Now let's go to the automatic transmission. Let's enter. Let's say OK. Let's read fault codes. And we have no DTCs. So now let's go ahead and just back up one more time. And now if I go to transmission, that's lit up. So what that does is it lets you know that you already looked into that module. Also, notice how many modules there are here. Now look at PGMI FI. You see that one next to it? That's because there was one code in that module. Let's go over the 2020 Toyota Highlander and let's see how many modules that has in it. Before we look at the Toyota's topology map, let's go over what you get when you purchase the K10 Pro. I've got everything out of the hard case and it's laying out here on the bench. Let's start with the K10 Pro itself. You'll notice the screen, 10-inch screen, very easy to see. That's what I love about the K10. It's also got that kickstand. You can use it as a stand, or you can hook it on the steering wheel. And then the dongle, or VCI, is set here in the back. It just magnetically sticks. This is the manual. This was actually pretty helpful when I was setting this thing up. Over here you have your data cable, and it doubles as a charger. This is your charger, and it's a 3-in-1 charger, so it's got two other adapters for other countries. This is the 2.0 network adapter, and this is the RJ45 network cable. So in case you can't connect to the Wi-Fi, you can still connect hardwire. This is the data link extension cable. In case your data link connector is way underneath the dash, you can get better access by using it as an extension. This is the DOIT cable, diagnostic over the internet protocol. This is for the newer cars that communicate over the Ethernet. And it's all nice and protected in its padded hard case. Let's get this thing back over to the car and do some more tests. And because this is Bluetooth, I can still work over at the bench. I just need to get this plugged in. So let's go back to intelligent diagnostics. And we're going to go Toyota. So here's the topology. Look at all the modules. So many more than what was on my Civic. Now, I'm having problems with the TPMS. Let's go ahead and just push that. Enter, and it'll get us right into it. Let's go to read fault codes. So I've got no fault codes. That's good news. That means it's fixed. Read data stream. Look at all that information just for tire pressure monitoring system. Unbelievable. That's why you need a scanner like this for these high-tech cars. Now let's go back to the Civic. I want to show you some graphing and I want to turn some components on. So I'm all hooked up to the Civic. Recently I did a video on my cooling fans. I showed you how to diagnose coolant temperature sensor number 2, which is the sensor that controls the fans. I got them going, but I only have one fan going. Let me show you. If I turn on the cooling fans, I'm going to say perform. Only one of my fans is coming on. See the one on the left? That thing's not doing anything. Let me shut that off. So I need to figure out what's going on there. I already checked the fan and the fan actually works if I give it power and ground. My next step is come over to the relays and see why it's not sending power to the fan. I'm going to pull both the fan relay and the condenser relay up just so I can compare one reading to the other, because they should have exactly the same thing on each one of those pins. Now I'm going to turn on the fans. They're not going to come on yet because I have both relays out. But what I'm looking for is it to give it the signal so I can check that signal. Now right now I have both fans on. Look at fan status, it says on. Now I'm going to use the power scan to check for power and ground. I could have easily used a test light or a multimeter, but this was sitting on top of my box. Now I'm not supplying any power. I'm just checking power and ground. Now these terminals should be the same. 2 should be power and 2 should be ground. So power, there's 1 ground, 1 power, 1 ground. 1 power, 1 ground, 1 ground, 1 power. Both relay socket pins tested good, so the most likely culprit is going to be the relay itself. Now I can test the relay, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about how the scan tool can help you diagnose your car. I'm going to go ahead and install 2 new relays, and then we'll go ahead and use the scan tool to test our fans. Now let's go ahead and test the fan, radiator fan, okay, and perform. This time we have both fans working properly. Now let me show you some graphing. So right now the car is warmed up and running. I'm on the topology screen. So let's go to the ECM module there. Let's say enter. Say OK. And let's read data stream. And then we're going to look for the engine coolant temperature sensors. So we have engine coolant temperature sensor 1, engine coolant temperature sensor 2, engine coolant sensor voltage for 1 and 2. So let's go ahead and say OK. And then here's our readings, and let's go ahead and just make it where I can understand it, not Celsius degrees. So now let's go ahead and graph it. So there's graph right there. So now we see our graph right here. And right about 203, 204 degrees, it usually does a spike. So just kind of sit there and watch it for a second. Hopefully it'll do it. There it went. There it went. It does it all the time, right about this temperature. So where are we at right now? We're at 208. It should do it. It does it almost all the time. And there it went again. So something like that you would never catch if you weren't graphing it. That's how important graphing is. I hope you got something out of today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. I'll also put links to the K8 and the K7 in the description below in case you want to go check out those review videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.